Hi everyone, this is Deb from debwebbart. Now, you know, as we end a new year, as we end the old year and go into the new year, one of the things that I have in my kitchen that helps us all know what's going on is a big calendar. And it just, you know, it's one of those things that's central in the kitchen, and so it allows us all to know who's doing what, and because we share the car, who needs the car for what days. So when I was looking at the calendar, I was thinking it's such a pity that there's all these beautiful pictures, and in this case Monet, and yet I'm just going to throw it away. Surely there must be a better use for it, okay? So I decided to grab some watercolor markers and just use them in the general area of the kitchen meals area. And so I opened up. I wasn't really knowing how these products would behave because it's water-based, it's watercolor. And I thought, well, calendars have got like a bit of a glossy feel, so maybe it won't work. And so I decided to just start by doing some little squares. Okay. Just some little squares. And it was really fun. The colors, they stayed, it behaved slightly differently, but I wasn't looking at it from the point of view of, this has got to be perfect. I was just doing it and thinking, oh, this is fun. I can experiment with color, I can experiment with design, and I've got all these little squares, okay? And then I decided that I was going to do, just try painting on the actual pictures, because I mean, the pictures are there already. Why not? So yeah, so I decided to do that, and I thought, well, let me film it so that you can see how it all went, and let's get to it right now. Right, so as discussed, here is the calendar. I've got two calendars here. One's more than animals, best friends, and the other one is Monet. Now, what I was doing was I was looking for something to do, and I wanted to do it not in my art studio. I wanted to just do it at the table where everybody was sitting. And so I got out these Faber Castell Albrecht Drüer watercolor markers, okay? Spoken about them before on the channel. They're double-sided. One's got a fine point and the other one has got a brush point, okay? And they are watercolor markers. So what I decided to do was I was just trying things, and when I tried things, I was like, oh, this actually works. So I'll show you what I was trying. I was just having fun with the leftovers, okay? With like the leftover blocks. Now I also did this on some that were that had been written on, because I was just playing. So it didn't matter that it was, that it was written on. And so basically what I've been doing here is just like a bit of a color experiment, really, where I've got my swatches from these pens. I love my swatches because then it just gives me a bit of an idea of how I can blend things, what I can put together. So for instance, now I'm thinking, oh, what if I do the pink one and I add in the purple, and then maybe a pink, purple, and maybe a blue. That one's 110. And I think it's this one. Oop. No, I'll get there. 110. Okay, so I've got those three colors, and then I'll show you just what I was doing. I was using a water brush. You know, when those ones, it's an aqua brush where you've got water in the pen itself, and then you just take it off, you give it a little bit of a squeeze. I always do this because I can feel when the waters come out. So that's how I operate it. And then all I was doing was just I don't know, just playing around, making some shapes and just experimenting with these colors. Okay, and it's actually quite fun because you're not having to do anything. You've already got the shapes, you've already got this here, so you literally just playing. Your family might be having a chat and you're still part of the action, but you know, you're just playing and chatting. And I just thought this was such a great use for calendars that you'd no longer needed or wanted. And because I've been sort of thinking about it a while now, I'm thinking, what can we do with the calendars aside from, you know, cutting them up and having them as prints or whatever, which very often by the time I've seen them for a year I don't really want to do. But I just thought this was a great deal of fun. And well, with these particular pens, they kind of dry quite easily, but then it is a 40-degree day here, so maybe they will dry easily, you know. Nothing like having a bit of a paint session when sweat is dripping down. All very exciting. All right. I wanted to put the fan on, but the fan makes quite a noise. So I was like, right, I'll just sweat. See, sacrifices for art, eh? All right. And then, you know, I'm just making stuff up here. I'm just grabbing a bit from here, plopping in there. You know, you just have fun. And then you leave that and you choose another 3 colors and off you go. You just carry on. And I don't know, there's something about all these little squares that just makes me smile. And I just think, wow. So the other thing I did was I tried color pencil, right? Because I was like, the paper that calendars are made out of very often are quite slippy. So I thought, well, I wonder if pencil would. It sort of does. It smudges some pencil that you use. If it's got more pigment, it might smudge a bit. These were some metallics in the corner here, and then what was this was watercolor pencil. So you could, and I mean, you could even use your acrylics if you've got a little set of acrylics that you're happy to have out wherever. Just use those. I mean, you can try whatever you like. Do you know why? Because you have 12 months worth of calendar pages. So, you know, you can get cracking. Okay, and then the other thing I did was I had the original picture, which you can see now. And then using the same things, so by no means am I being accurate. I decided, I'm not experienced with snow, so forgive me if things are all wrong, but I decided I didn't want it to be cold. I wanted to bring in some warmth. And so that's pretty much what I was playing with. I was just playing with a bit of warmth. And I don't know, I quite liked it. So I'm just going to show you, I've shown you what the little square looks like, but now I'm just going to show you me painting another scene, one of Monet's. But the other thing you can do, right, is you can, so say you're wanting to experiment with painting animals. So you grab your calendar and you have a little look and decide what animal you want to have a go at. And then you could just grab out for this. I would grab acrylic paints. Potentially, because it's slippy, I would put over some clear gesso. And then, if you need to, if it's too gritty, you could do a light sand, but mostly it's fine. And then I would just choose some colors that you think will work with this. And remember that you don't have to choose the same colors. It doesn't have to be exact. It depends what you're wanting, okay? So that's another way of just having a go at something where, hey, you were going to throw it out anyway. If you weren't going to throw it out, you would have potentially kept some of the pictures. Good for you. That is not what I do, okay? So I just thought it was a good idea to play around with what you've got here, and then you don't even have to paint what's there. You could put gesso over here and you could paint it completely. I could paint a vase of flowers if I really wanted to, because you don't have to have that. Use this paper, it's free. Okay, all right, let's see how the other one goes. Okay, so I chose this one. It's obviously Monet's work is amazing, and I'm not hoping to replicate it. I'm just going to have fun on top of it, okay? And I haven't put anything on it, nothing. So I'm just going in because this is just fun. This is not me trying to do anything special for any kind of show. It's just fun, okay? So I've got these pens because I was using them and that was what was making me happy. So I'm just going to use those. You can use whatever you want. Test out. You know, it's not, you've got your 12 pages. Test out what works that you've got and have a go. All right, so because I make swatches, I do enjoy my swatches. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab some pens that match up to a certain degree because I'm also going to be changing it, I think. I will grab some Payne's Grey, and I know full well that Payne's Grey is not necessarily, oh, do I have Payne's Grey? Wow, maybe I don't. Oh, no, here it is. That's an intro then. Oh, well, I'll just use this one then. This is dark indigo. That'll do. Okay, so I'm going to use a variety of colors here, and I'm going to bring the purple into the mix because I think that will make things interesting. See here, and I'll bring in the magenta. Why not? And then obviously we've got all these blues. I don't think I'll bring in that because that's a different slant. 247, is that this? Yeah, it is. I think that one, which is that, will look good. So mostly what I'm seeing here is kind of like a purple, blue, bit of pink kind of colors. So that's what I'm looking at and what I'm leaning to. But you've got to bring in a little bit of lighter colors as well, in my opinion. So I'm thinking the 153, but I could, yeah, we'll go for that. And then obviously there's, it looks like gold, which is lovely. I think I'll just bring in the yellows. I'll see how it goes, okay? You might not even see much because, well, it's quite thick, these parts here. And I'm going to swap my pen, refill pen, for a paintbrush, and I'm going to speed this up. Okay. Well, that was a bit of fun. And hopefully you haven't tossed your calendars out, because you could just use them for having a bit of fun, have a little bit of extra papers. You can even, I haven't tried this, but maybe you could even do some momogami, or momogami, I don't know how they say it, which is where you put some oil or a bit of water or something on the paper, and then you start scrunching, and you open it out and scrunch and open it out. Eventually it softens the fibers of the paper and makes it almost cloth-like. So that could be interesting to try as well. There's so many things that we can do with items that we just think, oh, we'll just throw it out because we can't do anything else with it. Well, if you are into art and you're wanting to just play and not have to spend heaps of money, you could potentially you could do that. Anyway, I hope you had fun, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.